I was going to do a light show today talking about, a murder here, a terrorist incident there, a nuclear bomb there, something easy, for a Friday. Something nice, light, and easy. But my gut tells me that you didn't want a nice, easy show, so I'm going to give you a hard show. For years I've told you that our media has become like Pravda, which means the truth in Russian. And I've told you for over a year that Obama is a naked Marxist. For 6 months I've said to you that they smeared the conservatives by calling them neocons, while they are neo-Marxists, and the phrase is not used by anyone but me. It'll be stolen now by the hemorrhoid with ears. He'll put down his chopsticks and get out the pencil. But an article just came out that I'm going to read to you in its entirety, and I never do this. And you know where it's from? Pravda. 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 Online since January 27th, 1999. This is from Russia. American capitalism gone with a whimper. It must be said that like the breaking of a great dam, the American descent into Marxism is happening with breathtaking speed against the backdrop of a passive, hapless sheeple. Excuse me, dear reader, I meant people. Now, I invented the word sheeple over 12 years ago. True, the situation has been well prepared on and off for the past century, especially the past 20 years. The initial testing grounds was conducted upon our holy Russia, and a bloody test it was. But we Russians would not just roll over and give up our freedoms and our souls, no matter how much money Wall Street poured into the fists of the Marxists. Are you listening carefully? Those lessons were taken and used to properly prepare the American populace for the surrender of their freedoms and souls to the whims of their elites and betters. Are you paying attention, schmuck? First, the population was dumbed down through a politicized and substandard education system based on pop culture rather than the classics. Americans know more about their favorite TV dramas than the drama in D.C. that directly affects their lives. They care more for their right to choke down a McDonald's burger or a Burger King burger than for their constitutional rights. Then they turn around and lecture us about our rights and about our democracy. Pride, blind the foolish. I'm reading to you from Pravda. Now here it comes. Everything we've been telling you. Then their faith in God was destroyed until their churches, all tens of thousands of different branches and denominations, were for the most part little more than Sunday circuses, and their televangelists and top Protestant mega-preachers were more than happy to sell out their souls in flocks to be on the winning side of one pseudo-Marxist politician or another. Bravo! Their flocks may complain, but when explained that they would be on the winning side, their flocks were ever so quick to reject Christ in hopes for earthly power. Even our holy Orthodox churches are scandalously liberalized in America. The final collapse has come with the election of Barack Obama. His speed in the past 3 months has been truly impressive. His spending and money printing has been a record-setting, not just in America's short history, but in the world. If this keeps up for more than another year, and there is no sign that it will not, America at best will resemble the Weimar Republic and at worst Zimbabwe. Are you paying attention, schmucks? You morons who voted for Obama? You schmucks, you don't even know what you did here. Shall I go on? These past 2 weeks have been the most breathtaking of all. First came the announcement of a planned redesign of the American Byzantine tax system by the very thieves who used it to bankroll their thefts, losses, and swindles of hundreds of billions of dollars. These make our Russian oligarchs look little more than ordinary street thugs in comparison. Yes, the Americans have beat their own thieves in the sheer volumes. Should we congratulate them? This comes from Pravda, the place where truth hurts. Isn't it funny that we have to turn to a Russian newspaper to get the truth because of the Associated Press in America? How many months have I told you that Wall Street was filled with thieves? Obama was put in by Wall Street to reward the crooks. Goldman Sachs, in my opinion, Morgan Stanley, the bankers who bankrupted America were all given money back by the capitalist stooge in chief. I'll continue now from Pravda. These men, of course, are not an elected panel, but made up of appointees picked from the very financial oligarchs and their henchmen, who are now gorging themselves on trillions of American dollars in one bailout after another. They are also usurping the rights, duties, and powers of the American Congress. Again, Congress has put up little more than a whimper to their masters. Then came Barack Obama's command that GM's president step down from leadership of his company. That is correct, dear reader. In the land of pure free markets, the American president now has the power, the self-given power, to fire CEOs, and we can assume other employees of private companies at will. Come hither, go thither. The centurion commands his minions. So it should be no surprise that the American president has followed this up with a bold move of declaring that he and another group of unelected, chosen stooges will now redesign the entire automotive industry and will even be the guarantee of automobile policies. I am sure that if given the chance, they would happily try and redesign it for the whole of the world, too. Shall I go on? We are talking about the descent of your nation into Marxism at the hands of Barack Hussein Obama, a pure 100% communist. Yes, welcome to the USS of A, the United Soviet Socialism of America. You've gotten exactly what you wanted, you left-wing vermin. You rats, you vermin, you filth, you losers. I'm reading an article from Pravda, a Russian online newspaper. American capitalism gone with a whimper, and it's about Obama being a naked Marxist, which I've told you about. They know it because they've lived through it, but you don't know anything because you're concerned with a human being who can sing who looks like the back of Stan Laurel's trousers. And then it goes on with Barack Obama taking over the automobile industry, and he says, I am sure that if given the chance, they would happily try and redesign automobiles for the whole of the world, too. Prime Minister Putin less than 2 months ago warned Obama and UK's Blair not to follow the path to Marxism. It only leads to disaster. Apparently, even though we suffered 70 years of this Western-sponsored horror show, we know nothing as foolish, drunken Russians. So let our wise Anglo-Saxon fools find out the folly of their own pride. Again, the American public has taken this with barely a whimper, but a free man whimper. So should it be any surprise to discover that the democratically controlled Congress of America is working on passing a new regulation that would give the American Treasury the power to set fair maximum salaries, evaluate performance, and control how private companies give out pay raises and bonuses? Senator Barney Frank, a social pervert, basking in his homosexuality. This is from Pravda. Complain to Putin if you don't like it. Senator Barney Frank, a social pervert, basking in his homosexuality. Of course, amongst the modern enlightened American societal norm, as well as that of the general West, homosexuality is not only not a look down upon life choice, but is often praised as a virtue. And his Marxist enlightenment has led this effort. He stresses that this only affects companies that receive government monies, but it is retroactive and taken to a logical extreme. This would include any company or industry that has ever received a tax break or incentive. The Russian owners of American companies and industries should look thoughtfully at this and the option of closing their facilities down and fleeing the land of the red as fast as possible. In other words, divest while there is still value left. The proud American will go down into his slavery without a fight, beating his chest and proclaiming to the world how free he really is. The world will only snicker. Written by Stanislav Mishin, and appearing today in Pravda. American capitalism gone with a whimper. Now, many of you are too stupid and don't have the education to even understand what you just heard. Your education level is so low, your brainwashing is so complete that you couldn't even follow that which I just read to you. All you know is racism, homophobia, global warming. You don't believe what I'm telling you, but you're going to suffer along with me. You think that because they came for me, you're innocent and you're free. You don't understand that they're going to come for you next. That's something you libs don't understand. You don't understand it, but I wouldn't expect you to do it because you're blinded by your own hatred. First, the population was dumbed down through a politicized and substandard education system based on pop culture rather than the classics. Americans know more about their favorite TV dramas than the drama in D.C. that directly affects their lives. They care more for their right to choke down a McDonald's burger than for their constitutional rights. Then they turn around and lecture Russia about our rights and about our democracy. Then their faith in God was destroyed until their churches, all tens of thousands of different branches and denominations, were for the most part little more than Sunday circuses. And their televangelists and top Protestant mega-preachers were more than happy to sell out their souls and flocks to be on the winning side of one pseudo-Marxist politician or another. That's Rick Warren. That's why he was chosen to moderate a debate. He's one of those sellouts. Their flocks may complain, but when explained that they would be on the winning side, their flocks are ever so quick to reject Christ in hopes for earthly power. Unbelievable. The final collapse has come with the election of Barack Obama. His speed in the past 3 months has been truly impressive. His spending and money printing has been a record-setting, not just in America's short history, but in the world. If this keeps up for one more year, and there's no sign that it will not, America at best will resemble the Weimar Republic, and at worst Zimbabwe. Now, that sentence makes sense if you didn't go to an American school, because you don't know what the Weimar Republic is, because your education level is that of maybe a 5th or 6th grade level. And Zimbabwe, you don't know what that is because you weren't allowed to see what happened when black rule took over in Zimbabwe when they threw the white farmers off their land.